today we are back because we are seeing movies. And the film we saw today was Moustache on the Orient Express.
It was, with Kenneth Branagh and some other people.
And Kenneth Branagh's moustache.
Yes.
Which was amazing.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't get top billing in the credits. Yeah.
No, actually, to notice that the principal credits were alphabetical. Nobody got top billing.
Yeah, that's good, that's nice.
I like it to do that. Yeah. Okay, so first impressions, what do you think?
Very good.
It was.
Very gripping.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, it was like almost, it was 2 hours, but it just flew by, didn't it?
Yeah.
Just, it was fantastic.
And the cinematography.
Oh, yes, stunning.
Beautiful.
Absolutely
I mean,
stunning.
we're talking, because obviously it's on a train, there's a bit at the beginning where he's travelling from Jerusalem to, I'm not sure where
Istanbul.
Istanbul to catch the train. So obviously there's a shot on the water where they got the beautiful skies, and just any time it's a panoramic, they've really filled up the screen.
Yeah, stunning, really stunning, snowy, mountainous landscapes, gorgeous.
Very appropriate for the weather we've got at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. The smoke billowing from the spout. It's not spout.
The funnel. I think it's a funnel.
The funnel. I think
From
it's
the train,
funnel.
the front end of the train.
The train hole. That is what it shall be called.
Can we not?
Yeah, let's not. That's the only time it shall be called.
Actually, I just ever thought maybe it'd be easier if you'd pull up on your phone, because there were a lot of people in this cast.
yeah, there really was. Let's see who we can name without looking up Okay, should we take one by one?
Okay, well, obviously Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh, the moustache.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Johnny Depp and his tash.
Yeah. Dame Dench.
Dame Dench.
And her lack of tash, which I was disappointed about.
Yeah, but awesome wrinkles.
Yeah.
Everyone is ancient.
She's rocking them wrinkles, bless her. Yeah. Whose turn is it? Your turn.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer. Penelope Cruz.
Oh, she was very pretty.
Yeah.
Josh Gad, who I thought I got confused with.
Jack Black.
No, not Jack Black.
I thought it was Jack Black for a minute.
No, the I can't remember his name. The guy who was in Fantastic Beasts.
Oh yeah, the bakery guy.
Yeah,
him. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's a fair comment. Olivia Colman.
Yes.
She's very good.
She was.
I love a bit of Olivia Colman. What's his name? I was thinking of his name throughout the
Derek
film.
Jacobi.
Derek Jacobi. Daisy Ridley.
Yeah, which I forgot she was in it, so good for her.
And circular glasses is in everything.
Oh, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, that's the name I was thinking of.
So they're kind of the main kind of thing, and they've got porn and So, well, obviously we're still in the non-spoilery part, because there are some people. Had you read the book?
No.
Had you seen any other version?
No.
Same. I hadn't read the book. Hadn't seen any other version. I had seen Aaron's Whodunit Hall on it, but he doesn't reveal the ending.
Oh right, okay.
It's one of those that I kind of knew the ending, because it's everyone kind of knows it's one of the books have been around forever.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. And I kind of knew part of the ending, but I didn't know the actual specifics of the ending.
Okay.
So did you know?
No, I knew nothing about it. So obviously I've heard of Poirot, of Agatha Christie, and of
You
Murder
never
on
saw
the
any of the
Orient
David
Express.
Suchet series, or?
Never, ever in my life. No. It's always intrigued me though. But no, I never knew anything about nothing at all about the ending or anything like that. I just went in completely cold.
Excellent.
Cold being an understatement.
Well, until the heating turned up.
Until the heating turned on at the end. My God, it was like being in a sword.
Well, it was hot where we were, because we were quite far back.
At the top, yeah.
And when we went down, I was like, wow, that heat really does rise.
Yeah.
And then I dropped my Cineworld card, which, as it turns out, was in the cup holder, so that was handy. But felt the heat when you went back up the stairs.
Yeah, just get steadily.
It was actually, we're sort of moaning about it being cold, but it's quite nice coming out, just a little bit of fresh air.
Yeah, a bit refreshing, yeah.
So, I'm assuming we're recommending.
Yeah.
For everyone?
Definitely. Go and see it. It's great. It's a great film.
Amazing. Really well acted. Like I said, cinematography.
Phenomenal.
The landscape cinematography is amazing. Some of the photography and the camera tricks inside the train car, very beautifully shot. So beautifully shot, well acted, very quite compelling at the end as well, with the person who we'll talk about specifically, but you know who I mean.
Yeah.
Really kind of almost gets you. Yes, and I will say this in the non-spoilery part. So there was a bit I was checking in the credits. Excuse me. The song at the end, the credit song, which I can't remember the title. I think something about forget. I was like, oh, hang on a second, and yes, I was right. The song is actually sung by Michelle Pfeiffer, who is a singer. She was in Grease too. She's in Hairspray. Talked about Hairspray the other day.
Yeah. It's all interlinked.
So I thought, oh, that sounds like her, but I wasn't 100%.
Okay.
But what I didn't realise, and I noticed as well, is the lyrics were by Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, right. No.
So he wrote, produced, starred in, and then wrote the theme song.
Blimey. Directed.
The man has talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He didn't do the screenplay. He directed. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, and talking about the credits, because we like making lame jokes at the people's names. Well, I don't know if he did it or not, but he definitely got away with it. There's a guy, I didn't see what his job was, apologies if you're watching, but there was a guy in the credits whose name was Scott Free. I was like, well, he got away. And that made me laugh. I'm sorry. I'm a child, like Charlotte.
Poor Charlotte.
Yes, her name's Charlotte Child. I don't know if that's her maiden or married name, but if she tries to tell someone she's not a child. Yeah. So that was fun with the credits. But yeah, did you not realise that Michelle sang?
No, I didn't. I mean, I knew she was a singer, is a singer, but no, I didn't see that in the credits.
No, you didn't count on that was her.
No, not at all.
No. Well, there you go.
I don't think I've ever heard her sing, actually.
But yeah, we liked it. We don't do rankings because I think, because we've seen the old thrillers and stuff, I think, was this our first murder mystery at the cinema as well?
I think so. There's not really many murder mysteries, is there?
No.
Sorry, yeah, I think it is. I don't recall anything else.
No, we've seen things that have a bit of mystery to them, a bit of twist. I mean, like Fantastic Beasts has got that kind of mystery going through it.
In terms of like a traditional murder mystery,
yeah,
good old fashioned swinging 30s.
Yeah. Have you watched a lot of mystery or stuff? Because I love Campion. I'm a big fan of Campion and stuff like that.
No, I haven't really. No.
Fair enough.
I mean, I like the concept. I find it really fascinating.
Well, you would in your profession.
Well, yeah. But no, I haven't really before. But no, I really enjoyed this.
So you'd see another one?
I would. Sets up for a sequel a little bit.
Well, it's a bit of a debate. Okay, so this isn't really a spoiler. It is right at the end, but it's a sequel bait for Murder on the Nile.
Yeah.
But and I saw a thing on Cinema Blend, like, oh, they might do a sequel for it. It's not a sequel because it's just a book that happened to be written after it. But if it's still going to be Kenneth Branagh, then technically you could call it
same universe.
But you wouldn't call any of the other previous Poirot or Miss Marple or any of those series, because with Agatha Christie specifically, especially, I mean, probably other detectives, one like Sherlock Holmes as well. But you have the TV series versions, and you have a collection of movies, and sometimes the collection of movies will have the same actors. Like, you could definitely say that the Downey Jr., Jude Law, Sherlock Holmes movies are sequels. One is a sequel of the other. The story continues. But as originally written, they were individual stories. So to say it's a sequel, if it's got the same cast members, yes, you can say it's a sequel. But there was already a collection of stories. I mean, with any of the other previous productions of any of the Christie or Doyle or any, writers like that who produced a series about the same people, would they be considered sequels or just in continuity? I don't even know how many of those other versions of. Yeah,
I suppose you could just argue it's the same universe, isn't it? Same people involved.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue the point that if it's got the same cast, it couldn't be considered a sequel. But to make up and say there is going to be a sequel, it's just a follow-up book.
Yeah. But I hope there is one of those.
Yes.
if it continues in the same vein as this one.
With the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies, they were their own stories. So they weren't based on the original books, so you can make that argument. But if it's based on the original book, but in Harry Potter, they call them sequels. Do they call them sequels or a series?
Well, that's it.
They'll just call them the Harry Potter movies.
Just the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah. Arguably, they're sequels to each other. And while we're on that note, very briefly before we get into the spoilers, seriously well done for that production to keeping their principal child actors the whole way through, because not many That's why you'd never find, like, Chronicles of Narnia, they never fully produced a series of Chronicles. I think the BBC got up to the silver chair, but even they didn't finish it.
Okay.
You know, it's like... So, you know, to have a 10-year production, we're keeping... I know some of the other kids, actors changed around, moving around. There's a whole thing with Lavender Brown having changed race. So that happens with your background characters. But of your principal main speaking role actors of that age, yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
But so, back to this movie. Any sort of anything non-spoilery commentary you want to...
No. No, just that I enjoyed it. It was really interesting, really gripping, suspenseful.
Yes,
Probably a good word
yes.
to use. I can't really say much more without spoilers.
Fair enough.
You know.
Okay.
So.
Spoilers!
I didn't bring the horn.
Every time.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got that the mini air horn thing that's actually Willem voiced.
Oh, right. Damn it, we should have bought that.
I don't know if it's copyright. Okay, so spoilers. I can't really do a normal breakdown of every scene because a lot happens and mostly it's kind of
interlinking, isn't it?
It's quite interlinking. Also, it's somewhat formulaic. So you got the opening sequences where you see him solve a crime in Jerusalem, where it turns out it was a dirty copper. But there is a cute bit where he puts his cane into the wall.
Into the Wailing Wall.
Yeah, and then as he's trying to get away, obviously people, like, you got everyone crowding around because it's a crime that happened in one of their holy places. Like a relic was stolen when the three leaders, the rabbi, the priest, and the imam. And he does actually say it's like that old joke, no? Moments after I pulled it over and said,
Yeah.
walked into a pub.
Walked into a pub, yeah. He must have heard you.
Amazing. But so that, you know, they're doing that bit, and so that's okay. So he's doing that, but as the guy runs away, goes around because they block off the south gate, and he comes back and he clocks himself on the cane that he just put there, just very casually. But yeah, the introduction is like some little kid finding eggs. Oh, there has to be perfect eggs. And like, no. So that's his introduction, and he ends up giving the kid the eggs in the first bin anyway. So that's his breakfast. So we meet him. He's sort of his peculiarities. At one point, he walks into a camel pat. I don't know. There's some muck on the floor. He steps in it, and he goes, "It's not so much the dignity, it's the imbalance." So he puts his other foot in it.
Yeah, balance it out a little bit.
So we got to meet his you know, quirks and stuff, and then so he does that. He proves his prowess. You know, saves Jerusalem. Travels onto Istanbul. We meet the governess. That was Daisy Ridley, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The doctor, whose name I don't know and probably couldn't pronounce if I could.
Can't remember.
But he was a very charming young black actor I've not seen before. And there's a little bit of racialing in there. Not too disrespectful. There's a moment where it's kind of like, oh, really? But that turns out to be a thing as well. But we dipped.
Apparently you press that button and it dips the light. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, that was
You learn something new every day.
So yeah, we start, because obviously this is a big cast, so we start meeting some of the characters. So the first sort of ones we meet them on the dock. There's Johnny Depp's character, and then the dancer, who is quite high strung, his young wife, who's less high strung, more strung out.
Yeah.
So we're sort of meeting everybody, and sort of goes on this train. You meet Miss Hubbard, who's Michelle Pfeiffer, and there's a lot going on. There's
a lot of character introductions to be made.
It's with a cast this big, it really is very quick thumbnails. Try and get a bit of their personality. We meet Book, who is the train director, because his dad owns the company or something. His dad's high up in the company, so he's like the schmooze guy.
Yeah.
But he's actually, we meet him as a bit of a cad. He's with a prostitute at the beginning, but he's very good at his job.
Yeah, he is, and he becomes a lot more likeable for me as the film goes on.
I quite liked him from the beginning because he's quite roguish and he's quite charming.
Quite up front, I suppose.
And he's quite handsome.
Yeah, he was.
In case you're wondering, yes.
Wonder no more.
Did you want to take some more of the...
What point were we at? So
we're meeting everyone and coming on the train and...
Meeting everyone, get on the train. Oh, yeah, he says, oh, come on to the Orient Express to take him to wherever it was he was going. Because
he was supposed to be on holiday, but then he gets a letter in Istanbul, saying, you need to come here for this crime.
Yeah, that's it. So he gets taken aboard the Orient Express by his mate with the promises of a nice 3-day break with no crime. Nice and relaxing.
Famous last words.
And there's a nice scene after dinner when Poirot is sitting alone at his dinner table in one of the carriages as the train is chugging along, reading his book and laughing out loud. His
Dickens. Tale of Two Cities, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's a funny book.
It is now. And then, what was Johnny Depp's character's name?
Ratchet,
yeah. What was it? When Ratchet comes along with his little cake and he has that little sort of tete-a-tete with Poirot.
I like the curly bristlentoplius.
Yeah. And basically Ratchet asks him to... He wants to employ Poirot into his protection.
So Poirot protects Ratchet because people are after him.
People are after Ratchet, yeah, because of all the dodgy deals that he's been
doing. This is after he and Michelle Pfeiffer have an encounter in the corridor where she's like, I don't like your face.
Oh yes, yeah, that's right.
Because he has got like scarring. Wow, Amber must have really hit him hard.
Controversial.
We're not doing that.
Because
okay, I'm going to say this now. Whatever else you think of Johnny Depp, he's still a damn good actor.
He is. He was very solid. He was very, very solid. And he wasn't in this one for very long, but he was very good.
A few flashbacks during the thing.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So if you don't know, basically his character is the murder victim.
Yeah.
So.
Good. So Poirot, during their little conversation, turns down his offer of helping
protection because you see him. Gad McQueen is his secretary,
accountant guy
person, and Jacoby is his valet. Masterson, something like that.
Masterson, yeah.
Jacoby. It's easy to say actor names.
And then I think the train continues chugging along. And
really,
it's now night time, and then
there's a storm.
There's a big storm on top of the mountain, and a huge avalanche comes down and into the path
that
of the train.
Is proper tense. It's a really good scene. I don't know if that's how it plays out in the book or other versions, but yeah. So basically, they are snowbound on the thing and over a bridge.
I know, over a very rickety-looking wooden structure.
Actually, to be fair, it was, it looked kind of like, ugh, but it's solid. It's been there for a while.
Yeah,
I don't know where it was supposed to be, but somewhere between Istanbul and Brod.
Yeah.
B-R-O-D.
Yeah, wherever that is.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, so that's because, and they're like, oh, what we're gonna do, and because you see the engine is knocked out, but most of the carriage,
most of the carriages are still on the rails.
I think the front carriage is slightly twizzled, but they're not in the front carriage, and they're in the end carriage, and everything else
derailed somehow.
Yeah, presumably the engineers and everyone's okay. We don't sort of hear about them. But whilst the avalanche is happening, they also discover, well, the avalanche happens. They're also look, we're staying in the cabins. You're safe. You're safer in there. And by the time they've woken up, they've worked out what's going on. And, oh yeah, we've been derailed. There's a snowfall. Yeah. Well, we're going to have to stay here. Yeah. But there are people down the line who, when we didn't turn up, would have surmised what happened. And you do see just guys getting on those like pumpy
rail things.
Pumpy rail things with shovels and ropes and all sorts.
So obviously going to help them.
So they clearly know what they're doing. So the audience, the characters, presumably the people further down the train as well, we don't have to worry about any of that. We are now stuck here waiting. Oh, and by the way, Ratchet's been killed.
Yeah, he's been stabbed 12 times.
12, Jacoby goes to wake him up for his poisson, and Poirot's like, oh, what, everything okay? And he breaks the door. Quite good. Telling about the cinematography, that whole scene is done completely overhead. Yeah, you don't see the body straight away. You just see him breaking in the door, like obviously not touching anything, and like call the doctor, call the guards, call Book. And Yes, we are going to be flipping between character names and actor names because I can't remember the name of the actor who plays Brooke. So apologies, because I don't like that. Like, you talk about the actors or you talk about the characters.
Yeah. Well, if you can't remember, you can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But yeah, so
they go and fetch the doctor.
and
Doctor comes in and
confirms because they've realised there's a breeze coming through.
the window is opening Ratchet's carriage. The doctor comes in and sees the stopwatch, the pocket watch on the side that's been stopped at like.
Well, they find that afterwards, don't they? He just guesstimates.
Oh yeah, that's
the time
right. He
of
said
death.
between 12 and 2.
Yeah.
Was when he estimates Ratchet's time of death was.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
there's all sorts of stuff going on up and down the corridor that evening. People knocking on doors and like people asking, there's a woman in a dragon kimono goes down the road. It's all. So they're like, okay, there's been a murder. So the murderer's among us. Basically, all stay put. We'll talk to you individually, because Book had slept in a different carriage, and they established that each carriage is locked. That the interconnecting doors between individual carriages is locked. So overnight, from whatever time to whatever time, each carriage is isolated. So if you're not in that carriage, you're not a suspect, and Book wasn't in that carriage. So, and then it's kind of just the interviewee stages where everyone gets some really nice character moments, especially with Jacoby, because the man's on ledge. It turns out he has toothache, which is terminal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's a flashback where he's Ratchet gets a letter saying, like a threatening letter, like the cut up newspaper type thing, where he's like, did you leave this on my pillow? And he's like, I promise you, sir, if I was to leave something on your pillow, it would be much worse than that. And how Farrah's like, oh, there's a running gag where they keep calling Hercules.
Oh yeah, Hercules, yeah. I recognise your moustache.
That was amazing. Oh, there's a scene where he wakes up and he's got a moustache coming on. That was funny.
That was awesome.
But yeah,
he would have one of those.
But so your valet of such standing as yourself wouldn't talk to the person like that. So well, he surmises, it's not just toothache, it's thinking his lungs, and it's not said by name, but it's intimated to be cancer or possibly TB. But I'm thinking cancer.
Yeah, more than likely.
Because he wasn't coughing.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So yeah.
And so they go through the interviewing all the train passengers.
At this point, also, Farrah is talking about the Daisy Armstrong murder, kidnap murder.
Yeah. So this
which
was
kind of threads through.
A few years beforehand, the young child was kidnapped.
2 years old.
Kidnapped and then murdered.
And then her mother, who was with child at the time, just the grief killed,
her and the unborn child.
But yeah, basically she went into premature, and then neither of them survived, which eventually obviously led the father to despair and self-death. So
suicide.
Yeah. So that's kind of running through it out, and because I know in other versions of the one Erin reviewed, it actually opens with the Armstrong murder.
Oh, right, okay.
Actually, that case kind of happens at the beginning to sort of set things up. So yeah, and then you discover that this person's like Dame Judy's character was her godmother, and a big fan of her actress, because you've got Arden was the actress mother of Daisy's mother. I can't remember Daisy's mother's name.
No, I can't remember.
And so she was a fan. So Dame Judy was a fan of the actress Arden, who was the mother of Daisy's mother. So she was the friend and fan of the grandmother of the child.
Yes.
So that's her connection, and Olivia Colman's her lady.
She used to work as a chef in the
which we find out
kitchen.
later, because we see a scene where she's like saying about the the menu. Because my God, that train's beautiful.
Yeah, I know, it's stunning, isn't it? Yeah. Just good, glamorous.
Add that to the list.
Glamorous. Yeah. So everyone, all the train passengers.
As we find out, as he's talking, he's revealing. Has a few scenes with Daisy Ridler's governor's character. There's a chase scene down the bridge with Josh Gad's accountant character. That was a good scene.
That was good.
A bit of a chase scene. So that's how you re-establish. Oh no, it's a pretty solid bridge. There's ladders and everything down it. Because there's a few points. Because because it looks like it's sheer drop one way, and I don't know, was there a bit of a gap towards the mountainside? Because I know I'm assuming that they would definitely walk to the front of the train to definitely go, because it's the engine and definitely the first carriage are more. So you've got the bridge here, and then you've got basically land here, so it's more flat there. So you do see it a couple of times they sort of get off and walk around, stretch their legs. So I don't know if they're getting off at that side or just go to walk down the train. But yeah, so there's a few scenes where they do get outside and stretch and talk. And at one point he interviews Daisy Ridley outside. And yeah, he's like, oh, are you and the doctor, you friends from... So I don't care, it's not, you know, we're not in America, it's not illegal to have feelings for the person of colour. One of Dafoe's character at one point is a bit racist, because he's like, like shouldn't be with like. And he's like, oh no, yeah, like should be with like, we shouldn't mix. And so he said about you wouldn't put your red wine with your white wine, and she pours them together. So I like a good rosé. So,
that was nice.
Boom!
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, it turns out that Willem Dafoe's not quite as a homophobic sack of shit, because Willem Dafoe is playing an Austrian professor who turns out to be a Pinkerton detective who was also formerly a cop. So he was hired to follow Ratchet by Ratchet to look out for him. So he said he was watching the corridor, and he and the Poirot and Brooke are like, well, we saw this, and if this door was open, like this person said. It's very hard to sort of go into the breakdown of what everyone was saying. If you know the story, then you're probably, oh my god, just talk, you know what's happening. But then, even though we're talking about spoilers, it is a film you should see for yourself. So, but I mean, I don't know how much more we can sort of. What more could you add to that? Everyone gets nice character moments.
Yeah, everyone reveals a bit more about themselves whilst trying not to reveal very much about themselves during the interview portions with Poirot.
Yeah.
And then he surmises based on the further along he goes in the interviews with each person, he starts to connect. Yeah,
because there's a scene where they find a bit of burnt paper, and they because this is where the Ridley case, the Armstrong case comes in. So I'm getting my daisies mixed up. Well, they find a piece of paper and they do a trick where they burn it to reveal the message, because I guess on the invitation, and he works out the rest of it. It's like, your blood is on her hands, your hands, you will die forever, something like that. And that's what introduces the Armstrong murder. And yeah, so there's a conversation about the young black doctor. So, well, you're a person like yourself in a position of yours, it must be how you studied. And he's like, must be terrific. Was it Oxford or?
I can't remember. I think it was Oxford.
Yeah, a medical college in England has one person of colour each year, and because he was a marksman in the war, and
they chose him.
He basically got sponsored. And it turns out because he said, oh, do you know an Armstrong? And he's like named off a couple of different Armstrongs in like different units, and then obviously it's revealed that it was the dad. Was it John Armstrong? Colonel Armstrong?
I think they just said Colonel Armstrong.
He's basically sponsored him, so that was his connection to the Armstrong family. So basically everyone's connected. Because everyone gets a really good character moment. Dave Judy gets a good character moment. The young countess and the dancer, because they're the only ones whose bags couldn't be searched because they had diplomatic papers. Originally I thought they were talking about Dame Judy's character, but it wasn't. It was the younger girl. And yeah, everyone's basically connected to everyone else in some way, or at least connected to the Armstrongs. And I mean, there's not much more we can sort of talk about that. I mean, we got the big chase scene, but it's really just he talks to people and finds out their stories, and they all get like the character moments. Willem Dafoe is really good. Jacoby moments are really good. Daisy Ridley's character moments are really good. Dame Judy, obviously. There's a point where he talked to Olivia Colman. I was about to say Jenna Coleman, but different actress. Olivia Colman in German, and she's like, my mistress won't understand. That's the point. And then there's a bit where she says about seeing the guardsman, and it's not the guardsman we see, Michelle, it's someone else. And it's like, oh, and because there's a missing button, and it turns out that was Josh Gad dressing up, pretending, because Hubbard. Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer. When we were talking about Michelle Pfeiffer, she was really good as well, being sort of the Merry Widow character.
Yeah, she's good. She always brings it, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She always brings it.
I mean, I think we're pretty much can't remember
at the
everything.
reveal, really.
we're in the parlour scene, which is really good. So basically, the train has crashed with the snow on it, the engine's front, but they're in front of they're near a tunnel. So you see the rescue people set up and keep themselves in the tunnel out of the way, and it's nice. It makes sense to use that as a base because you've got a sheltered area to put equipment. You have your tea or whatever, and probably maybe because I think they were there for a couple of days, so they might have even rotated a couple of different people in, sort of doing that. I don't know, maybe not. So because this area is already set up, they've got tables and chairs and everything. Everyone waits there. The engineers come along and said, look, everyone must be off the train whilst we write the engine. So, thing that's just occurred to me, sorry, I have to turn it down again now. Thing that's just occurred to me, we see our main character protagonist in the tunnel doing a not completely obvious Last Supper. It is. They kind of do the Last Supper thing on the table. But there are no other passengers because it's established that the train's full. I mean, even if you allow for the you've got the luggage car, you've got the lunch car, presumably a separate one for like food and stuff because you see when they're on the milk cans. So maybe first class, second class is right at the front near the engine, maybe. Yeah,
maybe.
So maybe I don't know. I don't know how the Orient Express is set up. So you've got the sleeper car, luggage car, food car. I'm assuming a separate because it looked like they were in a separate car that had the food and everything in it. And then I guess second class. That's five cars. Maybe that was all of them. Yeah. Apparently second class was 4 so maybe second class was a bit further down the tunnel or something, or maybe they went because he said, they can't go back on. They didn't let the engineers back on. But yeah, so basically you have the conceit of we need everyone off the train before we write the engine because they've dug it out now, which makes perfect sense because if it rocks you don't want people inside it, you hurt. So it's a believable conceit to have everyone off the train and in one place out of the train, because obviously with the trains on the car it's all kind of narrow, but now they're doing this whole Last Supper thing. Do you want to do the reveal?
Yeah, well then.
Go on.
So Poirot is building up towards the final reveal, and
he said, "Here's one theory," and Brooke's like, "That doesn't make sense." And then he says, "None of you is the killer. You are all the killer," or something. Yeah.
Or rather, his moustache says it.
The moustache is amazing.
It transpires that Michelle Pfeiffer's character. Orchestrated them all getting together and getting seats on the train.
Because it turns out every single one of them
has been affected by
one way or another
the murder of
including Josh Gad's character.
Yeah.
Because he said, "I'm a lawyer by training, but not by thing." He's like, "Oh, for your father, was he shamed?" Oh, and it turns out, why did they all kill Ratchet?
Oh yeah, because that's quite an important bit. Yeah. Because he murdered
Kalichi, was it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he abducted and murdered the little girl. So belonging to the family that they are all in some way connected to. So going back to when they discovered Ratchet's body, and they were saying there were 12 indiscriminate stab wounds in his chest.
Some deep, some shallow.
Some deep, some shallow, seemingly with no pattern.
Yeah, because they said, was it left or right? Because like a lefty and a right, he, would.
And it turns out through another little flashback that all of the 12 passengers all stabbed Ratchet themselves.
Because we find out that the Countess is on barbets, which he was poisoned with because he had coffee beforehand, and so they all done did it.
Yeah, they're all party to it.
And when we say everyone's connected, because the way Josh Gad's character is connected is his dad prosecuted the wrong person who was, and she was the maid.
Yeah, she killed herself, didn't she?
She killed herself, and it turns out even the conductor was in on it because it was his sister.
It's his sister, yeah, exactly.
And Willem Dafoe had fallen in love with her, and she'd fallen in love with him, and he's like, "I'm an old man, you should do better," but no. So that was everyone. It's very convoluted. So do you want to talk about Michelle Pfeiffer's turn?
Yeah, so she was wearing some sort of wig.
Yeah,
she was some sort of Russian.
No, she was. No, I think she was still American, but she was the actress. She was Arden, because it turns out the young Candace was Goldstein or something, of Jewish descent.
Yeah.
And then obviously, it's her married name, or Arden is considered to be a stage name.
Yes, of course, yeah. So she was, well, as we said already, she was the
grandmother.
And she was the architect of the whole thing, really. And she was adamant when Poirot was talking about, that he's got to tell the police when they get to.
Because book can lie, but I can't.
Yeah, book can lie, but I can't. So he puts the gun down in front of them and says, "You have to kill me. Someone has to be a killer. Someone has to silence me, and then you'll get away with it."
But Michelle has about 5 minutes. Just really bringing it and emotional
and she eventually picks up the gun, points it at Poirot.
They're like, no, don't do that.
And then points it under her chin, pulls the trigger, but it's empty.
Yeah.
And I think that was it for that scene, wasn't it? And then they cut inside the train.
Yeah, more or less. They all kind of have their own reactions. They all have their little moments. They're all kind of reacting. The Penelope Cruz we didn't talk about was a nun. She was the nanny that was in attendance.
Oh, that's right. Then the night the girl was abducted, and she
got a backhander from Johnny Depp.
She'd had one too many glasses of wine. Which
is why she doesn't drink anymore, which is established at the beginning. So yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of characters.
The way they brought it all together was masterful.
It was amazing.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna have to read some ag.
Yeah. And then we have that. Yeah, true. We have that final scene with the camera behind Hercule as he's walking out of the train, giving his little monologue.
He establishes towards the beginning that he received a letter from the Armstrong patriarch. Please, could you help? But by the time he received it, he'd already topped himself.
Yeah. So he sort of wanted to restore some sort of balance to that situation, and I think, well, what he eventually did was he told the police when they arrived in Broad, yeah, whatever it was, that
his first theory basically about a guy who got on because Ratchet originally suspected because he was in dodgy dealings and selling fake goods. I reckon it was the Italians that were after him, so it was a silent assassin that made away into the chaos of the avalanche and all that.
So that's what he told the police. The police accepted it. They accepted my solution. And they were happy with that, and so Hercule says this to all of the 12 passengers, all of the guilty parties.
Yes, he has his moment
and said, "You go and make peace with this now. You have killed the man who killed the little girl that you love so much."
A murder should only affect one person; it's affected so many.
And they've had their revenge.
I have a slight issue with that sentiment though, because it affects anyone who knew that person.
Yeah. Murder will never just affect one person.
But
it's a bit broad, isn't it?
But I think he meant, maybe that person and the immediates, but to have such a ripple.
Yeah, I think that's why he probably allowed them to do what they did, because it affected so many people.
Yeah.
Then, that was never going to be excused.
Yes.
So he essentially let them get away with it. And as he's walking out of the train goes off into the sunset towards
amazing
Istanbul.
Sunset.
Beautiful. And a guy.
Was it some more just kept going forward? It came from Istanbul.
It was.
They were going forward, and then he gets met off the train. Oh, we're looking for Detective Poirot. We have a case for him. He's on holiday. He is. Our Belgian accent is about as good as Kenny's. Sir Kenny.
And he said, "Yeah, they've sent me from Egypt. They need you in Egypt urgently. There's been a murder on the bloody Nile. Would you believe it?"
No. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
Who'd have seen that coming?
And eventually, I will meet you at Zagar.
Yeah, so he sort of has his moment and walk off. But there's a lot going on in this film. Like I said, it's a long film. A lot of it is the talking to people, gathering the evidence and discussing things. Yeah. And we forgot to say who we are again. What was I saying?
Adam, Michelle.
Hi.
Yo.
To be fair, in the Midnights they never introduce themselves. They're just like, hi. So,
You know who we are. We're people.
We're people. If you're watching us, then you know us.
Yeah, so it was a story of murder, mystery, grief,
suspense, good suspense.
Good suspense.
There was
revenge.
it wasn't that many set pieces.
No.
I think
it's a talky movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a talky movie. I think if you can call them set pieces, the avalanche, the chase with Josh Gad down the bridge, and then the scene in the food car where the doctor shoots him. That came out of bloody nowhere.
I know, I saw you jump. Twas loud.
Did you jump? Did you not twitch?
No. I'm odd.
You're odd. You're Arden. Not Abdul. But yeah, we liked it, we recommend it. It's a lot going on, we can't cover everything. And we're actually under time, so we only saw one trailer. Downsizing. I've already seen the trailer for this, I don't know if you have. No, we didn't. Was that pretty much the beginning of the trailer?
I can't remember, I don't think it was that trailer that I saw, but it was, Downsizing, the Matt Damon movie.
And whoever where they shrink people down.
Yeah. I think, as I said, I think it's because of population expanding exponentially, and they want to fit more people on the planet, so they're shrinking everybody down to little diddy size.
That looks really cute.
It does. It looks quite interesting. A little bit creepy.
So we'll have to put that on the list.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's like trying to help people and do stuff. Yeah. So it was hard to tell from the scenes how he was talking. Who he was talking. I'm assuming pretty much every scene, aside from the flashback where it's still in the hospital, is pretty much taking place after he's been shrunken. But the scale wasn't really evident in the scenes that they showed in the trailer. So there's a scene where you see a giant hand put a whole row of people, like a couple of lines of people in a thing onto the thing so they can see whatever's happening. But yeah, but that looks fun.
That does look fun. Yeah, we'll add that to the list, definitely. Yeah.
But hey, we did it. We're under time.
Hey, God, we're good.
Yay! So yeah, thank you for watching if you have been, and if you've made it all the way to the end.
It still
does. Yeah, it does do it.
That's weird.
But yeah, so definitely a thumbs up.
Thumbs up for Murder on the Orient Express.
Do we know what we're seeing next?
Do we know? Well,
I mean, Star Wars isn't actually out yet. We must have just heard a trailer.
Star Wars, I think it is out.
Well, I think the premier's only just been.
I'm pretty sure I heard the 14th. That's not out, is it?
No, that's the 11th.
I don't know.
But yeah, so we'll probably end up going to see Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Yeah, we'll have a look at Downsizing. We still can't remember what the other trailer was from the other day. We can't.
Watch this space.
Yeah, so there's a few good films coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Black Panther's in February. Oh yeah, Paddington's good. But I think Black Panther's out in February.
Oh right, yeah.
February, March, early in the year.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Cool. That's going forward a bit, but immediate's. Is Paddington still in? You've looked at the thing before, yeah. We'll go see Paddington. We'll go.
It's like a Marley movie, isn't it?
Because I know we wanted to see this. Was this the one that we wanted to see on our list? Because we always make a list, and then
I think so.
Sometimes like
we did mention. Oh, we're going to see that. That looks fun. Just because of the moustache. Because
we saw Thor. We saw there was other things.
Yeah,
on the
you
list.
Showed me the trailer for this when we were at yours, and you showed me the trailer for Murder on the Orient. And I think we both went, wow. And then you mentioned about just for the moustache.
Honestly, he comes on screen and I giggled at the moustache.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah, bless him.
But yeah, Kenny does a good turn as Poirot. Probably if they make Cairo, I don't know before we see it.
I think so, yeah. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that film. It's great. I love a good murder mystery.
Cool.
Yeah.
You do now.
I do now, yeah, absolutely. And I didn't even see the ending coming either. Yay! Which is always good.
Alright, cool. Well, thanks for watching. If you have been, made it all the way to the end, always appreciated.
Merci.
If you don't want to watch it all the way to the end, if you think our voices are boring, just turn the sound off, let it play in the background. It helps my numbers.
Watch our pretty faces as
well. But yes, thank you. Like, share, subscribe, all that groovy stuff. And I've been Michelle. He's been Adam. And we will see you later. We thank you and goodbye.
Au revoir.
Bye.
Au revoir.